Good morning, dear friends. Welcome all to Eng-lane English classroom. Today we discuss SSLC English, The Snake and the Mirror, Part 2. Dear friends, hope you remember the story, the first part of the story, The Snake and the Mirror, don't you? Who is the protagonist there? Okay, you know that is a homeopathy doctor. What were the doctor and his friends doing? They were sitting together. We have seen it. And what were they discussing? They are discussing snakes. What did the doctor ask them? Has a snake ever coiled around anyone's arm? You remember that question. And what had happened to him? A full-blooded cobra coiled around his arm. What was the time then? That was at 10 o'clock one summer night. You remember? Where did he live? He lived in a small rented house. What do you know about his earnings? His earnings were meager. He had only 60 rupees and some cloth. You remember all these things? Why couldn't he sleep? Because it was very hot. Okay, friends, these are things, main things, that ideas that we have discussed in the first part. Now, you see, sometimes we may have such occasions that we cannot sleep. On such occasions, what do? Please look at this picture, right? Okay, what's there in the picture? What's he doing? There's a man, he's looking into the mirror and he's admiring his own beauty or his own appearance. Do you usually do like this? Certainly we do. Whenever we are alone, there is no one at home, we do like this. Okay, now let us come to the doctor. What might have the doctor done then? Right, shall we move on to the next part? Let's see. Look at the picture, please. It's a doctor, you know. And what is he doing? You see, what's he doing? And what are the things on the table? You watch carefully. Okay, now see this one. This is the same doctor. Right. Okay, right. What is seen in the picture? He is the doctor. What is he doing? Okay, you can have your own answer. What may he be dreaming? Whether he is dreaming anything? Is he planning anything? If so, what is he planning? Okay, you can have your own answer based on the picture. And see this, he is taking some interesting decisions. Please listen to the audio and find out what they are. Don't forget to note where it ends. Okay?
In the room and sat down on the chair. I opened the books beneath the table and took out a book, the Materia Medica. I opened it at the table on which stood the lamp and a large mirror. A small comb lay beside the mirror. One feels tempted to look into a mirror when it's near. I took a look. On those days, I was a great admirer of beauty, and I believed in making myself look handsome. I was unmarried and was a doctor. I felt I had to make my presence felt. I picked up the comb and ran it through my hair and adjusted the parting so that it looked straight and neat. Again, I heard the sound from above. I took a close look at my face in the mirror. I made an important decision. I would should not be able to run after me and catch me.
Okay, dears, you have listened to it. Okay, what's he doing? What was he planning? He is sitting on the chair and he's admiring his own beauty. You have got it, I think. What was he planning? He was going to keep his mustache and smile. And what was his decision? He took two decisions, you know that. And whom did he want to marry? A fat woman doctor. Why? There is a witty reason. You might have heard that. Okay. Now let us read the story once again and we can make all these things more clear. Okay? Right? Don't forget to read with me. I went back into the room and sat down on the chair. I opened the box beneath the table and took out a book, the Materia Medica. I opened it at the table on which stood the lamp, and a large mirror and a small comb lay beside the mirror. One feels tempted to look into a mirror when it is near. I took a look. In those days, I was a great admirer of beauty and I believed in making myself look handsome. I was unmarried and was a bad doctor. I felt I had to make my presence felt. I picked up the comb and ran it through my hair and adjusted the parting so that it looked straight and neat. Again, I heard that sound from above. I took a close look at my face in the mirror. I made an important decision. I'd shave daily and grow a thin mustache or to look more handsome. I was after all a bachelor and a doctor. I looked in the mirror and smiled. It was an attractive smile. I made another earth-shaking decision. I'd always keep that attractive smile on my face to look more handsome. I was, after all, a bachelor and a doctor too on top of it. Again came that noise from above. I got up, lit a beady and paced up and down the room. Then another lovely thought struck me. I'd marry. I would get married to a woman doctor who had plenty of money and a good medical practice. She had to be fat for a valid reason. If I made some silly mistake and needed to run away, he should not be able to run after me and catch me. Okay, yes? You have got all the answers for the question first. And now again, what is he doing? You got it. He was an admirer of beauty and he was admiring his own beauty. And what was he planning? He was planning two things. You know that first is to shave daily and to keep an attractive smile on his face. And there were the decisions. And one more decision was there. He wanted to marry a fat woman doctor because if he made any silly mistake and he had to run, the wife could not be able to run after him and catch him. Very simple and interesting, very humorous part is there, yes? Okay. Now let us know more about the story. He says, I opened the box beneath the table and took out a book, the Materia Medica. The doctor says so. You have read it. Could he read? What were his thoughts then? He wanted to read because he couldn't sleep, so he wanted to read. And he took a book, the Materia Medica, but could he read? What were the thoughts or what were the distractions that came in his mind? Okay, now we can read the story silently once again, and you don't forget not important words. Okay, read on. Okay, got it? Right? Let us have a discussion. Please try to answer the very simple questions. What did he do after coming out or going out to the veranda and he found that there was no a breeze or in a fire? What did he do? He went back to the room and sat down on the chair. And what's the name of the book that he wanted to read? The Materia Medica. And where did he keep it and what were the other things? He opened it at the table, and on the table there were a lamp and a mirror and a small comb. Okay, what does the doctor say? Or what would one do when a mirror is near? He says we would look into it. And in those days, how was the doctor? He was a great admirer of beauty and he wanted to make himself look handsome. Was the doctor unmarried? Yes, he was unmarried and he had to make his presence felt because of two things, that is, he was a bachelor and he was a doctor. Then what did he do? He picked up the comb and ran it through the hair and adjusted the parting. Now his hair or that parting looked straight and neat. Okay, did you hear the sound again? Yes. Then the doctor took or made an important decision. What was that? He would shave daily and grow a thin mustache to look more handsome. You see, yes, there is an element of humor mentioning or referring to his decision, very important, right? And then what did he do then? He looked into the mirror again and smiled. How was his smile? It was an attractive smile. Then he took another important, earth shaking means important decision. What was that? He would always keep that attractive smile on his face. Why did he take such a decision? To look more handsome. Because he was, after all, a bachelor and a doctor. Again he heard that sound. Then what did he do? He got up, lighted a beedi and walked up and down the room, pace, that is walking up and down, and then another thought struck him. How was that thought? It was lovely. What was that thought? He would marry. Whom did he want to marry? A woman doctor with plenty of money and a good medical practice. And there is a very funny condition. What was that? She had to be fat. What was the reason that the doctor wanted to marry a fat woman doctor? That is, if he made some silly mistake and needed to run away, his wife should not be able to run after him and catch him. Serious, it is also humorous. There is a element of humor in this part 2. I think it is very clear and very simple and you can enjoy this part, right? Now, see, let us try to answer the scaffolding questions. In those days, I was a great admirer of beauty. Pick out phrases and expressions from the story to justify the statement. Yes, I think you can do it yourself. What does that mean? You have to find out the phrases and expressions to justify the statement. In those days, I was a great admirer of beauty. There are two phrases and sentences that show he admired his beauty. I will give you one example. You can see this. See, I took a close look at my face in the mirror. Like that. One more is there. You can find it out and you can write it yourself. I would always keep that this one. I would always keep that attractive smile on my face. Just like that, you can find the other expressions. Some samples are given along with the note. You can compare your findings with those in the note. What are the two important and earth-shaking decisions that the doctor takes while looking into the mirror? Simple, yes, we have already discussed it. You can write on your own. And again came that sound from above. Did the doctor pay much attention to that noise? Why? Okay, you please come up. No. Why? He thought that it was the usual sound of rats running along the beam. Okay, and what kind of a woman does the doctor want to marry? You know, a fat woman. By the values we have discussed. Try to write yourself and you write it. Compare the answers with the sample answers given in the notes. Okay, now let us discuss the story in detail. Before that, let us see the words. Tempt means have an urge or inclination to do something. Tempt, right? Admire means a person who has a particular regard for someone or something. ഒരാളോട് ഒരു കാര്യത്തിനോട് പ്രത്യേകമായൊരു പരിഗണന താല്പര്യം പിന്നെ ആരാധകൻ എന്നുള്ള സെൻസ് വരുമ്പോൾ. Parting means a line of scarf revealed in a person's hair by combing the hair away in opposite directions on either side. Scarf here means skull. I will show you the picture. Mustache, you know, a strip of hair left to grow above the upper lip. Bachelor means a man who is not and never been married. Avivahidan, you know. Make oneself felt, that's a phrasal verb, have a noticeable effect or influence. Okay, all are easy and simple. Let us see what is this. Is materia medica and this is mustache. You know, this is mustache and this is parting. You see, this is parting. This is parting. Here too, this is side parting and this is central parting or middle parting. Okay? You have got it. Now let us discuss the story or that paragraph. The doctor went back into the room and sat down on the chair. He opened the book which was there under the table beneath the table and took out that book. He opened the box beneath the table. The box was beneath the table and from it he took a book. Its name was the Materia Medica. He opened it at the table and on the table there were a lamp, a large mirror, a small comb, cheap, lay beside the mirror. Beside means near the mirror. These things were there on the table. He says one feels tempted to look into a mirror when it is near. When there is a mirror near, we would desire to look into it or we will be attracted to that mirror, right? And he took a look. In those days, he was a great admirer of beauty and he believed in making himself handsome. Handsome, good looking. It is usually used with men and with women. Beautiful or pretty, that can be used. Good looking can be used with both, that. And he says he was unmarried and a doctor, so he wanted to make his influence everywhere. All others should notice him. That. And he picked up the comb and ran it and combed his hair and adjusted the parting so that looked straight and neat. Okay, you got it? Again, he heard that sound from above. He looked closely at his face in the mirror. Then he made an important decision. What was that decision here? That's it is humorous, yes. He would shave daily and grow thin mustache, Misha, to look more handsome. He was after all a bachelor and a doctor. Got it? Yes. Now, let us move on to the next paragraph. The words first. Earth shaking means very important. On top of it means in addition to or as well. പുറമേ. Lovely means delightful. സന്തോഷകരമായ, ഭംഗിയുള്ള. That can be, such meaning is there. And struck means strike, struck, came into here. When it is related to mind, that means came into the mind of someone suddenly unexpected. പെട്ടെന്ന് തോന്നുക, പെട്ടെന്ന് വരിക, മനസ്സിലേക്ക് വരിക. Plenty means that can be noun or pronoun, large or sufficient amount of quantity, more than enough. Okay, you know that. And then valid means having a sound basis in logic or reasonable, you know that. The next one is silly. Silly means having or showing a lack of common sense or judgment. Otherwise, foolish. Silly means foolish, nisarama, Now, let us see this one. Listen, please. I looked into the mirror and smiled. After looking into the mirror for a while, he smiled. He felt that it was an attractive smile. So he made another important decision. He would always keep that smile on his face to look more handsome, because he was a bachelor, a married man, and the doctor too. Above all, he is a doctor too, or he was a doctor too. Okay, yes? Or a doctor too as well. Okay? Again, he heard the noise from above. He got up and lit beedi. He lighted beedi, beedi kathichu, and paced, walked up and down the room, thinking about himself. And then a very lovely, delightful thought came to his mind. That was, he would marry. He would get married to a woman doctor who had plenty of money and a good medical practice. She had to be fat for a reasonable reason. That is, if he made some silly mistake and he had to run away, she should not be able to run after him and catch it. He wanted to get such a woman with such a condition, because that is what he lacks. He had no money and medical practice, right? And there is an element of humor. Very nice, children. Got it? Now let us move on to the main ideas. His dreams and ambitions were in contrast to what he was. He was a poor doctor, and he lived in a rented house. But his dreams and ambitions were in contrast to what he was. You know what he was, but his dreams and ambitions were in contrast to it. He was a great admirer of beauty, and he believed in making himself handsome. You know that. He laid great emphasis on the fact that he was unmarried and a doctor. He is repeating that one many times. He was too pleased with his appearance. He desired to shave daily and grow a thin mustache to look more handsome. To distance, you see. The manner in which he desired that in this decision is an important one, is quite funny. I have mentioned that. Later, he also made an earth-shaking decision to always keep smiling in order to look more handsome. This contrast between the kind of person he was and the kind of person he wanted to be makes the story humorous. This story is really full of contrast. Mainly three contrasts. Yeah, this is the first contrast. It is mentioned here. Contrast means വൈരുദ്ധ്യങ്ങളാണ്, right? That means വൈരുദ്ധ്യങ്ങൾ രസകരമായി അവതരിപ്പിച്ചതാണ്. And he had thought about a kind of person he would want to marry. He wanted to marry a woman doctor who had plenty of money and a good medical practice because he did not have any of this. He wanted a fat wife so that whenever he would make a mistake, his wife would not be able to catch him. Okay, very nice. Yes, this is what there in the paragraph that we have discussed today. Now, we have seen that the doctor couldn't read, but there were many thoughts in his mind while looking into the mirror, and after that, what you have to do is write a short paragraph on the doctor's thoughts while looking into the mirror. Now, watch this, please.
By Vaikom Muhammad Bashir. It is the story of a doctor who has just started his medical practice. He earns a meager income and lives in a small rented room, which is an outhouse with a tiled roof. The beam on which the gavel is supported is full of rats, which keep moving in and out of the room. The room has no electricity supply. One summer night, the doctor takes his dinner at a restaurant and returns home. As the doctor opens the door of his room, he hears a noise from above, but he does not react because he is used to such noises. He lights the kerosene lamp, takes off his coat, shirt and vest, and opens the windows. He takes out a medical book from the table drawer to read. He keeps it on the table on which a lamp, a large mirror, and a small comb are placed. He opens the book and sits down. As he's sitting in a chair in front of the mirror, he looks at his image. He thinks that, as he is not married and is a doctor too, he should look handsome to get a better match for himself. He decides to shave daily, grow a thin mustache, and keep an attractive smile on his face. Gradually, his thoughts shift from self-admiration to planning for his marriage. He thinks that he would marry a rich doctor having a good practice. He would choose a fat lady as his wife so that she would not be able to run fast and catch him in case she chases him for doing some mistakes.
Okay, yes, I think you have learned what we have discussed. Thank you for watching. Notes are and explanations are there. Okay, meet you again. Till then, goodbye.